Hello? Can you see me? Oh, just a minute. Of course you couldn't see me. I was on the other side of what you can see. I'm going to call it the veil. I've got an incredible story to tell you. It might be more than you can understand or even believe without God's help, but we'll trust God for that. I want you to consider this, that there's a veil between us and heaven is a dimension that's all around us. We just can't see it because we and all of our forefathers chose to live by what we could see and what we could taste and what we could experience. Would you imagine with me for a moment that God, on the other side of the veil, actually can see everything that's going on our side of the veil? And imagine at one point in history, because he cared for us, he sent his son. He actually came himself through the veil and into the womb of a young Jewish girl, and there he received a body to communicate to us on our side of the veil. But that wasn't all. He came to actually remove the veil. And what caused it? Our sin. And so he came over here, received a body, and God, looking at all the sin that he can see that's been done on our side of the veil, took it and put it on the body of his son, and then poured out his wrath and all the punishment, the death, the separation he experienced because of what our sin did. It blinded us to God and to have fellowship with him. We couldn't have it because of that very thing of living for what we can see and taste and experience. Well, then imagine that when God poured out his punishment upon that sin, that when Jesus breathed his last breath, he went back through the veil into the presence of God. In fact, the veil in the temple there in Jerusalem actually split in two from top to bottom, just to tell us that that happened. And then, so that we might know that he loves us and that God has satisfied his own justice, has satisfied his own righteousness in his son on our side of the veil, he sends his son back into that very same body. And here on our side of the veil, for about 7 weeks, he talks and meets with people. And then he goes back through the veil. He does another disappearing act, except he doesn't die this time. He goes back through the veil. And on the other side of the veil, he sits at the right hand of God, where he and his Father are going to keep a promise that they made while they were on our side of the veil. And that is, they would send the Holy Spirit. And so, repeatedly, he sends the Holy Spirit into the hearts of all those people that he loves and that he created for himself. That could be you. The way you know that he loves you and that he created you for himself is that when you hear this mysterious, out-of-this-world message, you actually believe it. He gives you eyes to see, not these kind of eyes, but the eyes of your heart, so that you can see that heaven and God actually exist, that you've been raised up with Christ and that he actually took away your sin and removed what separates you from God. Then you can live on the other side of the veil while you're living on this side of the veil. Have you seen those things? Have you seen that God has removed the barrier between you and him? Have you been raised up with Christ? Do you know that he loves you and that he created you for himself? Well, you can find out more about this by reading the Bible. Hello? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Have you heard God? Have you seen God?